Hey guys, Akil here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Thank you as always for joining me. Before I forget, I don't mention this a lot, but if you guys are interested in weekly trading videos and you're not watching them already, make sure you head over to my YouTube channel. Just YouTube search Akil Stokes. I do a weekly trading edge video each and every week, giving you an outlook on the markets and sharing with you some of the best trading ideas that are on my radar for the week ahead. Make sure you subscribe. That way you don't miss a video, and make sure that little notification bell is hit as well. That way you are updated whenever the videos are released. In today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about, success mindset, not necessarily trading specific, but a topic that has to do with inner drive, I should say, and knowing when to quit and when to keep going. And I got an email the other day I forgot what podcast it was, but it was one of those podcasts where I talk about the mindset of never failing and how learning from your mistakes and all that fun stuff. And the comment said, Akil, it's very odd to say this, but I definitely don't suffer enough. There we go. The podcast we talked about, you need to suffer in order to find success. And he says, Akil, it's very odd to say this, but I definitely don't feel like I suffer enough. With that being said, something that you said at the end of your podcast is that if you are consistently doing the right things that are pushing you in the right direction, eventually you will get where you want to go. And that kind of goes off my philosophy in life, where it says, if you do the right things for the right reasons, with the right amount of effort, for the right amount of time, you will be successful. And usually time is that missing element, right? Typically people do stuff for the right reasons, or some people do stuff for the right reasons. Most of them eventually end up doing it the right way. The ones that make it to that point of discovering the right way to do it are typically investing the right amount of effort. And then the last kind of piece to the puzzle is time. Things just take time. Anything of value in this world takes time. So it takes those 4 pieces to find success, right? Right reasons, right way, right effort, right amount of time, right? Those are the 4 elements of success that this trader is referring to. And he says, I'm curious on if that applies to people who are trying to find out where they are going. For example, I quit trading. I know, I'm sorry, I'm a failure, haha. And I'm doing real estate. I've been doing real estate for the past 6 months. I don't know if it's my calling in life. Now on that, it's like, how do you decipher from a guy who is just trying to find a quick fix in his life, and a guy who is just trying to find his purpose in life and is trying different things in life to find it? Even if I quit doing real estate, I wouldn't know what else to do. I wouldn't know where else to look. So do I just grind out real estate for a couple of years until I make a lot of money and start searching? Or do I run the risk of trying to find my purpose and end up broke at 30 and nothing to show for my life? Curious on your thoughts. Also, you do a great podcast, Akil. I always love to listen. Thank you. I'll leave your name out of it, but obviously we've known each other for a while. And this is an interesting subject, right? For you guys that are new to the podcast, we're on episode 350 plus, right? So we've been doing this for a few years. You may have not heard kind of my introduction as a trader, but I had no intentions of becoming a trader. I had no intentions of becoming a trading coach even after becoming a trader. So if you would have asked me 13, 14 years ago what I would be doing with my life, guess what? My answer would have been, I don't know. In fact, not knowing what I was doing with my life is what got me into trading in the first place, right? I graduated college with no idea of what I wanted to do. In college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I wanted to play sports, and I know I had to go to college in order to play sports. So that was the reason I was there, but I had no idea what I wanted to do with my degree. Add to that, I graduated right at the beginning of the recession, and I was in a position where basically I went to grad school in order to buy some time before answering relatives' questions about, hey, what are you doing with your life? How come you don't have a job? All that fun stuff. And I stumbled into trading, mainly because it was investing, I guess, was the next step of kind of financial education for me. My father did a great job of teaching me Not necessarily about the markets, but about how money works. So, basically, here's what money is, here's how you value it, here's how it's earned, all that fun stuff, to here's how you invest, right? You put it in a savings account, and back in the day, you get a little money back from it, right? You put it in a certificate of deposit, you get even more money back. You put it in a money market account, you get more, like all this fun stuff. And investing was the next step. So I really got into investing because I had some money from working my entire life and being pretty frugal, along with some graduation money, which was, my dad told me that was the last big payday I'd get graduating college. And I didn't know what to do with it. Again, I don't really spend money on anything. So I just had all this money sitting around, and, I wanted to go to the next step, which was investing. And when I got into investing, I just discovered that I loved it. I discovered that I love making money, but it was more than just a way of making money. It was a game. I had a passion for it. I got into real estate as well. I don't have the same passion for real estate, which is interesting. I don't really like real estate. From a personal perspective, I like what real estate brings, but that's more of a tool that can help me generate wealth, help me generate different revenue streams, and something that I can pass on to my sons when they get older. But there's not the same passion there. So I do real estate, but I would never want to be like a real estate investor or a landlord again. It was horrible. I hate it. But I stumbled across these paths at the same time, and I had no plan on doing either of them. In many cases with real estate, I was kind of forced into it. My business mentor just kept threatening me and saying, you got to do it, you got to do it. And finally, he kind of pushed me into it, and I did it. And one of the best decisions of my life. Trading was the same way. I stumbled into it. I just was around it, and I liked it. Did I ever think that I would become a professional trader? No. Did I ever think that I would manage money? No. Did I ever think that I would become a coach? No. In fact, the first 2 times I was asked to coach, I said no. I said, not really for me, and I didn't do it. So you never know where this stuff is going to lead you. And I even look at things like college and skills and whatnot. And I used to think for the longest time college was a complete waste of time and money. But I look back at the skills I have now, the ability to speak correctly, the ability to do cool things on the internet and produce podcasts and understand business and P&L sheets and run a business, businesses, I guess you could say. Those were skills that I learned in college, meeting different people from a different perspective, even just gaining knowledge on the different type of people we run into in this world, right? We're dealing with a lot of nonsense in the world, right? There's obviously the corona pandemic. There's also this the race issues have kind of hit the boiling point across the globe, but specifically here in the U.S. And one of the biggest things that I got from college was just being around different people, meeting different people from different places, from different backgrounds. It kind of gives you perspective and a better understanding of different people's situations, and it kind of kills some of those, not necessarily, I guess you can call them some of those stereotypes that you have about different people. And I hope that the people that I ran into, I was able to do the same for them. But, I don't think let's put it this way. All right, going back to what I said in the beginning, you never know when you're going to find your calling. You may not even know what your calling is going to be, but this is why you need to keep fighting. This is why you need to keep grinding. There's nothing wrong with going from one thing to the other, right? If you're doing, and there's a big difference between bailing, quitting, and kind of moving on, right? It is okay to dip your foot in something and get an idea for what it is and give it a chance and give it an honest try. And if you can be honest with yourself saying, hey, I tried, not necessarily saying it doesn't work, but it's not for me, then you could be okay with that, right? We're not all built to do all things, right? I wish I was in the NFL. Guess what? I'm not built for that. I'm not, but I gave it an honest try. As long as you're trying, right, that work ethic is going to make you successful in something. Maybe it's not trading. Maybe it's not real estate. Maybe it's something else, right? But the character traits that you develop from your experience in the market, from your experience doing real estate and selling homes, right? From your experience, cleaning dishes or cleaning toilets at night, from your experiences of working with children that have mental and behavioral health issues, right? Those are going to make you the person that you are today. And I truly believe that, right? All of those experiences experience is, play a role. The problem is, or I guess the hard part is, you don't necessarily see it until later. You don't see it until you look back. I look back at myself and everyone asks, well, Akil, how come you're so patient and disciplined as a trader, as a coach, as a father? Well, I look back to being involved in sports. Would I ever have thought sports would have an impact on my career? No, right? But it helps. I look back at my time working with children with behavioral and mental health concerns and the patience that's needed to consistently deal with them and follow the protocol if they escalate, right? That was massive. I just thought it was a paycheck at the time. But not only did I learn a lot about people with those type of concerns and have a much greater appreciation for them, but it allows me to be very patient. I know you guys don't see me in my household, but I've got 2 kids, and like normal kids, they like to test the boundaries, and people are amazed at how I handle myself, and it's because of those situations. I've learned how to handle myself in a certain way and de-escalate situations, and that carries over into the markets where I don't get emotional over winning streaks. I don't get emotional over losing streaks. I follow the process, right? Sports help me with that as well. But again, you don't notice that until years later. So I think the most important takeaway that you can have if you're someone in this situation where like it feels like you're trying something and it's just not the right thing, and you're trying something else and it's not the right thing, right? If you're giving effort, it's not bouncing around. If you're giving effort, you can be comfortable. But these are all experiences, right? There are skills that are being learned. There are skills that are being developed through each and every one of these situations. And although you may not see the benefit of these skills right now, I can promise you that they will come in hand later. Who knows what you're going to be doing? But every step of the way is a learning experience, and you're building yourself to be the person that you're going to become years from now. So you have to keep trusting it. You have to keep trusting it. Try out different things. Give your all. Go for it. Give an honest effort. And when you find that thing you're really passionate about, when you find that thing that clicks, where it clicks all the boxes, where you feel like you're providing value to someone or even yourself, obviously it gives you a paycheck as well, and it's something that you're passionate about, you're going to be successful at that thing. It just takes time, it takes experience, it takes trial and error to know what that thing is. You mentioned you're in real estate. This trader, this real estate agent mentioned he's real estate, right? My business partner, right, John Bomberg, I did an interview for his podcast a couple months ago. I'm going to put it on mine eventually, but he has this podcast I want you guys to check out called The Associates, right? John Bomberger, JONBOMBERGER. He has this podcast called The Associates, and I bring him up because he's a perfect example, right? I did a podcast a few years ago with him sharing his story, and his story is basically this, right? He did the whole corporate thing, worked his way up the company, right? All that fun stuff. I'll make this the short version of his story, and then he got screwed. And when he got screwed, he realized that, man, this isn't, I liked the job. I wasn't really passionate about it. It was a paycheck. I was good at it. And then he got screwed and realized how little control he had over his life, how his life was at the snap of someone else's finger. Boom. It was in their control. Many of you guys are experiencing that right now with the pandemic, where you're losing your jobs. You thought you had a nice, safe job. Then all of a sudden, right, the world's on lockdown. Businesses have to, trim the fat. And guess who's the fat? You. And with one phone call, hey, we're not going to need you anymore. Boom, you're gone. And that's tough. And he decided to do something else, right? And he started with real estate because that's something, it's flexible. There's fluidity in it. You can kind of control your own fate in real estate. He did that while working jobs on the side. And I don't know if he ever planned on loving real estate or becoming passionate about it, but he did. And eventually, I don't know if I can spill the beans on this, but he's looking to become a broker himself. There we go. I just did it. Hope he doesn't get mad at me. But he's looking to open his own brokerage. And if you ask him 5 years ago, would he have ever thought this? No. But now he's looking at this opportunity right now saying, this is the time. I've put myself in this position. I've learned different skills that helped me along the way, whether it was working in retail, right? Customer relations. That's going to help with real estate because you're doing the same thing. Sales, that's real estate doing the same thing. As he was doing real estate, he opened up a school to train agents. He learned what brokers do, right? And now he's at the point where he's gotten all this knowledge from all those years of just being in the right position and being a sponge and working at it, he's got this knowledge that now he has the ability to do what he really wants to do. So I wish I can give you an answer of when it's quitting and when it's not. I don't believe it's failure until you die. Sometimes it happens at 30, sometimes it happens at 35, right? There's no time limit. I guess there is a time limit when you die, but there's no, I don't think you need to put a specific age on it. I wanted to be a millionaire at 30. That was my goal. I did not achieve that. Did I just throw the goal out the window and quit my life? No. I kept grinding at it, right? So keep pushing forward, do the right things for the right reasons, with the right amount of effort, for the right amount of time, and you'll see that everything you invested in the past will one day pay off in the future.